Close your eyes for a moment and imagine waking up on a June morning in America. The year is 1816. The world should feel warm, alive, buzzing with the promise of summer. Birds should be singing, crops stretching toward the sun, and towns preparing for the long, bright days ahead. But instead, the first thing you see when you open your door is frost. A glittering, white frost coating the fields like winter never left. You stare at it, confused, breath turning to mist in the air, as if you had stepped into January, not June. Livestock huddled together against the cold. Leaves on trees hang limp, darkened as if burned. The world feels wrong, quietly, deeply wrong. You are living through a year people will remember forever. A year they will call the year without a summer. At first, no one knows what to think. Newspapers across America carry strange, panicked headlines. Farmers gather in disbelief. Families whisper prayers, believing the end of days may be near. The frost, shockingly, is only the beginning. That night, temperatures plunge even further. People wake to find birds frozen on the ground, their wings stiff with ice. Newly planted crops, corn, wheat, potatoes, are destroyed. Some families lose everything in a single night, and yet the strangest part isn't the cold, it's the sun. Across the United States, people begin to notice that the sun looks wrong, dimmer, weak. Sometimes it takes on a reddish hue, like a dying ember struggling to stay alive. The light feels thin, fading before it even reaches the ground. You hear stories from travelers. The sun looks like it's behind smoke. It's like the sky is wrapped in a veil. Daylight feels like dusk. No one can explain it. There are no massive fires, no global war, no source of smoke that could cover the entire sky. And yet, the world has dimmed. As the days pass, confusion slowly turns to fear. Farmers try to replant their fields, but June cold snaps strike again. Snow falls in parts of New England. Snow in June. Men and women stare at the sky, shivering, trying to understand what force could bend the seasons so violently. By late June, food prices begin to rise. Chickens stop laying eggs. Cows produce less milk. Crops wilt before they have a chance to sprout. Families begin rationing what little they have left. Some walk miles to search for edible plants in the forests, finding fewer and fewer each day. America is not alone in its suffering. Reports from Europe tell of violent storms, black rain, constant cold. In Asia, crops fail. Famine sweeps across communities already stretched thin. The world seems to be turning dark altogether. Still, the question remains, why? Back in America, you notice the strange behavior of animals. Birds fly in erratic spirals, migrating in the wrong direction. Livestock act skittish for no reason. Horses refuse to leave their stables on certain days, sensing something humans cannot. As the summer progresses, the cold doesn't fade, it deepens. July mornings feel like autumn. August feels like late October. You wrap yourself in blankets you usually wouldn't touch until winter. Lakes and rivers stay icy. People gather around fireplaces even in the middle of the day. Food becomes scarcer. Some towns begin to panic. Others pray. A few whisper superstitions that the world is being punished, that some cosmic balance has been disrupted, that the sun itself is dying. You don't know it yet, but the answer lies thousands of miles away, in a place almost no American has heard of. And in a moment of violence so massive, so explosive that its shockwaves circle the earth itself. But the people of 1816 have no way of knowing. They have no satellites, no global communication networks, no weather forecasting. All they can do is watch as their world twists into a cold, dim uncertainty. One early August morning, you step outside again. The air bites at your skin, colder than July had any right to be. You look at the horizon and see the sun rising, glowing a strange, muted red. And for the first time you feel a chill that has nothing to do with the weather, but everything to do with a single terrifying question. What if this cold never ends? The world waits. Each day, the cold tightens its grip, and deep inside, every person wonders the same thing. If this is just the beginning. You keep waiting for the moment when the world will warm again, when the air will soften, when the sun will finally break through the strange haze overhead. But instead, as August unfolds, the sky seems to grow heavier, almost metallic. Sunlight arrives dim and weak, as if it has traveled through something thick and invisible before reaching the ground. You feel it every time you step outside. Something is blocking the sun, and though no one can explain it, everyone can feel it. The markets in American towns begin to echo with voices, worried voices, bargaining voices, desperate voices. Food is becoming scarce. Potatoes rot in the ground before they grow. Wheat shoots die after sprouting. Fruit trees bear almost nothing. Families wander from farm to farm, trying to trade clothes or tools for a few handfuls of grain. Some households brace for winter early, preserving whatever tiny scraps they have left. People who once debated politics or crops now debate survival. You hear arguments whispered in taverns and churches. It's God punishing us. It's the sunspot cycle. A volcano erupted somewhere. No, it's a comet tail blocking the atmosphere. No one truly knows. But one thing is certain. The cold doesn't behave like any normal cold. It comes suddenly, without warning, like a shadow passing over the world. Sometimes, in the middle of an afternoon, the temperature plummets so fast you see your breath. On other days, the wind blows warm, just long enough to make people believe the worst has passed before a freezing mist rolls in, killing whatever the warmth had revived. The sky becomes a place of strange colors. Sunsets burn red and purple. The moon glows through a veil, sometimes ringed with pale halos. On certain nights, the sky feels low, pressed down, heavy. Farmers begin keeping journals, trying to track the madness of the seasons. One entry reads, "Snow fell upon the garden as my wife sowed seeds." Another, "Frost bit the corn as it sprouted. Frost bit it again as it died." Word spreads across the world. Europe is starving. China is starving. Entire villages in India are fleeing famine. Riots erupt. Food stores are looted. Governments declare emergencies. And still, America waits for answers. In September, another cold shock hits. Rivers freeze around the edges. In September, families begin burning furniture just to stay warm. Livestock die in the night. Children cough in the cold air, wrapped in blankets far too thin for this endless winter. The more you see, the more you start to feel that something has gone wrong with the earth itself. It's not just cold. It's not just strange weather. It's as if the world has tilted, slipped, gone off balance. Churches fill with frightened people. Ministers deliver sermons about faith and endurance. Others warn of apocalyptic signs. Some communities hold nightly vigils, lighting candles beneath the dim sky, praying for warmth. And yet, underneath all the fear and confusion, a strange curiosity begins to stir in the scientific world. A handful of scientists, astronomers, meteorologists, geographers start asking a question so bold, so shocking, that most people refuse to even consider it. What if the cause of this endless cold didn't happen anywhere near America? What if it happened on the other side of the world, and the sky is still carrying the scars? Rumors trickle across oceans. Sailors arriving from Europe bring unsettling news. The sun is dim there too. The cold is crushing crops. The sky looks ashy. The world feels poisoned. Slowly, a terrifying picture begins to form, not of divine punishment, not of a dying sun, but of an explosion so vast and violent that its effects have circled the entire planet. You may not know the name yet, but the world will one day learn it well. Mount Tambora, a volcano in Indonesia, has erupted in a way no living human has ever witnessed. You hear fragments. Ash reached the edge of space. Towns were buried alive. The sky rained fire. The sound was heard hundreds of miles away. But what matters most is what you can see. The invisible veil of ash and sulfuric particles now wrapped around the earth like a shroud. This veil reflects sunlight away. It cools the planet. It turns summer into winter. It steals warmth from your skin. It suffocates crops before they grow. It changes the sky into something pale and ghostly. And in 1816, no one living in America can do anything but endure it. By late autumn, the suffering grows heavier. Food runs out. Families eat whatever they can scavenge: roots, bark, leaves. Travelers write about children silently watching empty dinner tables. Communities hold meetings to share what little they have left. And yet, despite the hunger, the cold, the confusion, there is also resilience. Some families learn to preserve wild plants. Others build communal fires. People help strangers. Towns share resources. Because deep down, everyone understands the same truth. If they don't hold together, they won't survive. The year without a summer is more than a climate disaster. It is a test of humanity, of cooperation, endurance, and the ability to survive a world that suddenly feels alien. As winter approaches, there is one chilling realization that spreads across the land. If the summer was this cold, what will winter be like? And with that question heavy in your mind, the world braces itself for the next chapter, not knowing that the worst and the strangest is still yet to come. Winter arrives early. Not the gentle winter you're used to. Not snowflakes drifting softly onto rooftops. Not the calm silence after a storm. This winter is sharp, violent, sudden. The first cold wave comes before people have even finished harvesting what little grew. A freezing wind sweeps across the fields and forests, turning soil brittle and water solid. By late October, ponds are already glazed with ice. By November, lakes crack under the pressure of early frost. People wrap themselves in layers of wool, but the cold seems to slip through everything, as if heat itself is being sucked out of the world. But winter is only one part of the nightmare. The sky has become unpredictable, not just dim, but wrong. On some mornings, the sun rises as a tiny orange ember behind thick haze. It casts no warmth, only a faint, eerie glow. On other days, the sky is tinted blue-green, as if light is being filtered through something unnatural. The sunsets, once beautiful, are now terrifying. fiery reds, violent purples, burning streaks of gold that look more like apocalyptic signs than natural beauty. Children stare at the sky in fear. Adults try not to. The strangest thing, though, is how the cold behaves. It doesn't move in smooth seasons. It attacks in waves, sudden drops that catch entire towns by surprise. One evening, the air is mild enough for people to step outside without heavy coats. The next morning, the ground is white with frost, crops dead, wells frozen at the surface. These temperature crashes come without warning, leaving farmers helpless as what remains of their food dies again and again. The diaries from this time describe the same horror. We lit a fire at night. By dawn, water froze solid beside the flames. The chickens froze where they slept. We found the sheep stiff in the field, like statues. Even strong adults begin to collapse under the constant struggle to stay warm and fed. Hospitals overflow with frostbite and starvation cases. Local governments try rationing, but there is barely anything to ration. Food prices skyrocket. Families stand in long, silent lines for a small loaf of bread. Yet the suffering is not equal everywhere. In some wealthy towns, people still eat meat, butter, and grain, though in smaller quantities. In poorer towns, people boil weeds, acorns, and shoe leather. Some grind dried tree bark into powder and mix it with flour to stretch their rations. Parents give their food to their children. Children give it back to their parents. Everyone insists the other needs it more. Still, hunger creeps in. But something else is creeping in too. Something psychological. Something darker. Because while cold can be fought with fire, starvation can be fought with sharing. Fear is much harder to fight. Rumors spread like frost on glass. The sun is dying. The Earth's orbit has shifted. A comet poisoned the sky. This is the end times. People begin to notice patterns, or what they think are patterns. The sky dims more after large temperature crashes. Northern winds carry strange scents. Animals behave oddly. Birds migrating in the wrong direction. Cattle refusing to graze. Wolves entering villages in daylight. Superstitions collide with reality. You hear stories of people abandoning their homes to chase warmth, heading south with nothing but a blanket and blind hope. Some never return. But in the middle of the fear and despair, something remarkable begins to happen. Scientists, few in number, poorly funded, and often ignored, start to uncover the truth. Letters from Europe arrive slowly, but when they do, they paint the same picture. The cold is global. Entire countries are freezing. Harvests have failed across continents. People everywhere are staring at the same strange sky. Finally, specific reports begin to surface, vague at first, then increasingly detailed. A colossal volcanic eruption happened the year before, in April 1815, Mount Tambora, Indonesia. A blast so powerful it ejected ash 40 kilometers into the sky. A blast so massive it wiped out villages, changed maps, created tsunamis, and killed tens of thousands instantly. A blast so violent it roared across oceans, heard over 2,000 kilometers away. And the ash didn't fall back down. It drifted upward into high layers of the atmosphere, layers where nothing normally stays. There, it mixed with sulfuric gases, forming a thin but planet-wide veil, a veil that reflects sunlight back into space, a veil that cools the world. Scientists, in letters and journals that travel painfully slowly across seas, describe it as a stratospheric shield, a mirror covering earth, stealing summer away. But the average American family doesn't know or doesn't believe any of this. What they do know is simple. The weather is killing them. Their crops are gone. Their livestock are dying. Their nerves are breaking. Yet, even as fear peaks, something unexpected begins to stir among communities. Unity. People begin sharing food across households. Churches open their doors day and night. Wealthier families secretly leave baskets of food on poorer families' doorsteps. Towns organize warming circles where families gather in a single home to conserve fuel. Children help split wood. Neighbors share blankets. It's not enough to solve the crisis, but it is enough to keep many from falling apart. And slowly, almost imperceptibly, by early 1817, the worst of the cold begins to loosen its grip. Not disappear, not entirely, but soften. One morning, you wake up and feel something unusual. The faintest warmth on your face. Sunlight. Real sunlight. For the first time in months. The farmers stare into the brightening sky with disbelief. Children run outside without coats. People breathe air that doesn't burn their lungs with cold. But the world is not healed. Not yet. The ash veil is thinning, not gone. The climate is still unstable. The ground is still cold. Many believe a new summer will fail again. And yet, despite everything, hope rises. Because after the worst year anyone can remember, the world has survived. Scarred, shaken, hungry, and humbled, but alive. But the psychological scars remain. People walk differently now. They watch the sky with suspicion. They record temperatures daily. And whenever the wind grows strange or the sky dims just a little too much, everyone remembers. The year without a summer may be ending, but its shadow will haunt the world for a generation.